Hello, and welcome to the Art of Screenwriting. My name is Anissa Morgan, and I am the founder of this channel. On this channel, we help inspire and educate individuals about screenwriting and film. Make sure you subscribe for weekly videos, and be sure to leave a comment on what screenwriting tips you'd like to learn more about. On today's episode, we will be tackling the art of 3-act structure. So, let's get started. So, what is 3-act structure? Well, to understand 3-act structure, we must know each act separately. Your first act should set up your world, introduce characters, and establish strong scene descriptions. To put it plainly, Act 1 gets your story moving, and when you skip Act 1, you leave your audience confused. Take this clip for example. The movie Get Out is a prime example of how your first act can immediately grip your audience. So, during Act 1, you want to set up all interpersonal relationships so it can pay off later. You don't want to introduce Rose's parents in Act 3 if they're part of the main cast, right? So, if you don't want your audience to fall asleep, here's what you need to accomplish in the first act. Number 1, establish where your character is. Are we in the Swiss Alps, a pub in Ireland, a skating rink in Atlanta? Where you are, we should know. Number 2, what year is it? Are we traveling back in time like Marty McFly and Doc Brown? Are we in a cool Western where iPhones don't exist? Or maybe we're going to go to present day? Figure it out, and your script will be a success. Number 3, what's this movie about? Coming of age? Drama? Comedy? Once you figure that out, it will bring us to our last point. Number 4, who are these people? Are they a group of teenagers about to go to college? What about a middle-aged mom who just won the lottery? You must know who your characters are so we can root for them. And once we do, we can get to our next act. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. I'll explain. Act 2 is probably my favorite because it's where we are literally sitting on the edge of our seats. Take this scene for example. Now, this scene where Eric kills Clow and infiltrates Wakanda is the midpoint of Black Panther. This is where the OMG moment of your story happens, when the audience is pushed forward into your story and where your characters are met with insurmountable circumstances, where they either fail or achieve. This is where we see the plot dramatically shift as Eric forces the conflict and T'Challa is forced to act. Act 2 is all about the audience finally getting their questions answered that were set up in Act 1. Now that you've seen an example, let's go through our checklist of everything we need for a beautiful Act 2. Number 1, what's the adversity? This is your moment to throw everything in your character to prove if they really want to achieve their goal. Number 2, spill the tea. What are these characters' secrets? Does the protagonist secretly love her best friend? Does the antagonist have a soft spot for puppies? Either way, we want to know. Your last point is to establish how long they have to achieve this goal. We can't have Eric trying to get to T'Challa's throne forever. We need to know how long they have to fulfill their goals so we can root for them. Once you get these things in order, you can move to the last and final point. Now, Act 3 is when everything comes together. We see characters confronting emotions, their passions, goals. This is where all the setups pay off. The emotional beats you created in Act 1 come back and make sense, and when Nia Long and Lorenz Tate finally kiss under the rain. This is your chance to open tear ducts and create emotion. Now, following your midpoint breakdown in Act 2, your characters should face a final challenge that forces them to face their fears once and for all. An example of a 3rd-act success would be when Noni finally decides to be her own person and fall in love with her prince. Sorry, I mean Nate Parker. So, to make your 3-act structure promising, the audience needs to know if they've reached their goal, and if not, how are they coping with that defeat? Have they reached their peak high or low? And last, does the ending bring tears of sadness or joy? Once you've answered these critical questions, you have yourself a successful 3-act structure. So, today we learned about the art of 3-act structure. I hope you learned something today. If you want to help us, please leave a comment on what videos you'd like to see next, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like these. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you'll be. Peace.